Welcome. You've got emo stuff. Saturdays on Planet Radio
106.7
with Hunter deBlanc.
Welcome to another SADurdays. I am backstage at When We Were Young Fest 2025 with Jeff and Chuck of Simple Plan. Guys, how you doing today?
What's up, dude?
I'm great. Thanks for having us.
No, it's a pleasure, man. We chatted a few weeks ago about the new Simple Plan documentary. How do you feel the reception has been, and do you feel that fans are now connecting more with Simple Plan after the documentary has come out?
I would say, yeah. I mean, what do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, the most beautiful part about it all is that you have all these fans, that are sort of like coming back to the band because they're exposed, to the documentary, to social media, to new ways of hearing about bands. So that's very exciting. And the fans, that have been with us forever are sort of reconnecting to the story, because that whole thing is about telling the story of the band, the 25 last years that have been amazing, ups and downs, obviously, but we talk about it all through the documentary. So it was a great moment for us to tell our story with our archives and with, images of what's going on right now. I think it's pretty neat for people to see, what we're going through right now on screen.
I feel like it's really tied everything together for fans and people who didn't know much about the band. And one of the things that I've heard you guys say is that you're something along the lines of you're no longer embarrassed to be in Simple Plan or something like that. And that's sad that was ever something that was happening, guys, So
I mean, I think that definitely when we started out, the world was a bit different in early 2000s. There was a lot of drama about who's punk enough.
A lot of gatekeeping.
A lot of gatekeeping going on, yeah.
So I think that was happening, and that definitely, we were one of the bands along with, the Good Charlotte of the world, Sum 41 and Blink and all that. Even Blink got some hate on that stuff. Green Day even, which is crazy when you think back. Avril, everything. And now at the time it was really harsh environment for, if you play that kind of music, you could have a lot of backlash. And that was tough. That definitely took a toll, and we talk about it in the documentary. And I think now with the years that have gone by and also with the resurgence of the band and the resurgence of the sound and of this kind of music, it has transformed how we look at at the legacy of the band. I think that we realized that our music had a huge impact on a lot of people. It was important and meant a lot to a lot of people. Yeah, and I think we're kind of reclaiming some of that pride of we created that. We did that. We built that band, we built that story, and we're very we're kind of just very proud of it now, and kind of we want to, and we thought it was cool to kind of finally make peace with all that and say, here's where we're at. And
like a redemption arc.
Exactly. I think, and that's what's interesting about the documentary, because you're part of the scene and you've been following us and you didn't really know how we felt. So I think it's a chance for the fans to see under the hood, to see behind the curtain, to kind of understand that it's, yes, you're this band, you're this image, whatever, but beneath all of that, you're just humans that have insecurities, that are going through tough times, and you're trying to deal with the best way that you can. And sometimes it's tough, but we didn't give up. We kept going, and the movie is a story about really it's all about resilience and not giving up and keep chasing that dream that we have to be in this band.
I'm glad to see it, man. I'm glad to see the Simple Plan redemption arc happening. So, guys, one last question. The festival is called When We Were Young. So who are some artists that you were obsessed with when you were young?
Blink was a very important band, obviously Green Day, and before them, NoFX, Lagwagon, Face to Face. I loved Face to Face, and I still do.
They changed. They had different kind of bass lines, and they were doing something different. The bass lines didn't really follow
key-ish, but it was more than that. I mean, I love Jimmy Eat World. That was a band that I still love them. There's so many bands that are part of that scene, and that's the thing about When We Were Young. It's it's emo, but so much more than that. There are bands that are heavier that are here.
It's a big blanket word now. It's kind of get thrown out there a little loosely, but I feel like that's part of the gatekeeping of it all. So, and I'm glad to see less of that happening. And
well, I mean, I think there's some bands that have really changed our lives, and sort of guided us into the path, like musically, and also in terms of who we wanted to be as a band, right? So those bands for me, like Jeff mentioned some of them, but I would just add Bad Religion was a hugely influential. Like when I heard American Jesus for the first time,
Same. That was one of the first punk rock bands that I really got into was Bad Religion.
we want to be in a band, and we were doing like kind of like we love Rage Against the Machine and Tool and Pearl Jam, and then when I heard Bad Religion, it shifted everything. And Offspring is also another one. Like when that record,
How did I not name the Offspring?
called Ignition,
Yeah.
came out, that song Session was all the
By the way, that turned 30 years old. It was released 33 years ago on last week. Ignition, yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, that changed everything for us. It gave us like musical inspiration, direction, and now what's amazing, it's full circle. We've been on tour with them for the last 2-3 years. We've toured, U.S., Canada. We did just Japan, Australia. We're doing Europe with them right now. Like we're literally going back in a few days. So we get to play with one of the most seminal, influential bands of our lives. We get to see them every day. We get to call them our friends. So, and what's amazing is they're bigger than ever. So yes, when we were young, I loved them, but today, whatever today's age, I love them even more, and I love all these bands and all this scene. So it's cool that it's not like a relic of the past. It's not like a thing that's like, it's not relevant anymore. It's something that's like growing and getting better now.
It's like when we were growing up, like 80s nights for adults, It doesn't feel like that, though. It doesn't feel like a nostalgia cash grab. It really feels like that gatekeeping has lowered a little bit, and now there's more acceptance for everything.
So bands are still active. They're not just like,
Yeah.
they're making new music. They're putting on a bigger show than they've ever put on. And
But social media changes a lot of things too, because you have proximity to those bands now. Those 80s bands, when we were sort of revisiting their music, they were ancient. You had no connection to the people because you couldn't see them aside from on the album covers. And when you saw them on stage, like it just didn't look the same, right? Now with social media, you could actually follow these humans, on tour. You could see them here and now. So the connection is easier to make. So I think that's part of it too,
So when you hear the music, when you heard that, when Nirvana came in, they sort of rewrote the whole playbook, and all of a sudden, the 80s music just sounded really dated.
Overproduced hair metal stuff.
Anymore. It didn't feel like it was emotionally significant, right? Well, I don't think that has happened with this kind of music. You hear it now, what was made in 2001, 2, 3, it could have come out last week and it would still feel like relevant, So I think luckily the music still sounds, there's something fresh about it or something evergreen about it, which I think is the key, because if the music, it doesn't matter that you're on social media doing this, if the music is not evergreen, if it doesn't hit, if it doesn't connect with people anymore because it feels dated, then it wouldn't work. None of this would be happening. The music keeps all this alive,
Well, guys, thank y'all so much for chatting with me today. Y'all, I have a vivid memory of getting my first car and listening to My Alien driving out of the parking lot. So,
Dude, it's funny you're saying that because I was thinking about the Offspring. The first time I went out, it was the Offspring playing in that shitty car we were driving to wherever place we were going to. It's crazy how it just repeats itself.
full circle, man. It's full circle. So, guys, thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Thanks